Who do we got? Are you able to take notes today, Livia?
Yeah.
Oh, you already put your name in there. Nice. Cool. So I switched up the questions a little bit for this review call. And so we'll spend the first half just talking about some of our issues around quantifications, how it went and everything. Then we'll jump into the data, look at the spreadsheets, look at the dashboard, and then maybe we'll follow up with a couple more questions after that. First things first, we'll start with intentions and distractions. My distractions is meeting fatigue. I'm coordinating buying a barbecue for my dad for his birthday while being on meetings nonstop. So it's a process. My intention is to facilitate, and I'll pass it to Livia.
My intention is to. I took some notes while quantifying yesterday, so maybe bring them up and just listen to everyone's experience and distractions. Yeah, today is a heavy meeting day, like 7 to 8 hours of meetings, and I have one more after this.
Yikes.
Yeah. Um, I'll pass to Maxwell.
Sure. My intention is to participate and contribute and get a little more info. And I perused the data and saw some things that apparently I didn't understand as well as I thought I did. And my distraction is that I saw that the time zone was given as Saskatchewan time. And I'm wondering who's in Saskatchewan because I had to go to Regina in January, and this was like 7 years ago, and I'm still bitter about it.
Yeah, that would be yours truly, the one who's hosting the meeting.
Absolutely. That's what I thought. I didn't want to assume though, but
Because
I
apparently
love
Central Time is
Canada, but
different in Saskatchewan than the rest of the world. So I have to clarify.
it's daylight savings. It's
Yeah, we
daylight
don't do that.
savings. Yeah, exactly.
Rage quit. Cool. Do you want to pass it, Maxwell?
Yeah, who else is on here? Let's pass to Bear.
Hey, so my intention today is to see how I can help and understand a little bit more about the quantifying. And I have a distraction that I am not home, so I'm working from a cafe and it's a little bit too much information. But yeah, that's it for me. And I would pass it to Ziwei.
Okay. Hi. Intention, lesson and learn. Distraction. I'm fighting the GitHub synchronization for the rat dashboard. I hate GitHub.
Cool. Do you want to pass it?
Yeah.
I think.
Can you help me?
Yeah, sure. Boonjue.
Hey everyone. Tensions, kind of like Z-Way, just to listen and learn. This was my first quantification, so got some things I want to share, but more importantly, I want to listen to what you guys have to share. Distractions. I don't hate GitHub like Z-Way, but I'm moving to Southeast Asia next month, and I just left my job last week, so it was like really difficult transition period. But it should be smooth sailing in a couple of weeks. So it's not that bad. And with that, I'll pass it to Bear.
Cool.
You're on mute.
Oh no, Algene. I think Bear already went.
Yeah, hello everyone. So intention to learn more about how to quantify better. And distraction, it's been a busy week as well. And some of the tasks that I have are new to me, but still doing great. So I pass it to Daya.
Yep. Daigui, are you there? Okay. Maybe in the meantime, Benz, have you gone?
Nope. I just haven't been on the rewards group in a while. This quantification went pretty smoothly, and just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. It was too smooth, so no. Yeah, just wanted to check in, not distracted, and I'll pass to, I don't know who hasn't gone. Sorry. I guess there's a list here.
I think Daigui was the only one, but they're not responding. So if at any moment you come back and you have something to say it. Nice, cool. Well, then we'll keep moving. Now I just want to understand, and you could just pass it if you weren't quantifying, so maybe that'll help speed it up. But the first question here is, how comfortable did you feel with your quantification? And maybe we can start with Ben's, because I know that you did quantify.
Yeah, I felt really good this time. I don't know when you added the weak bars, but that was really helpful. Like for picking out duplicates and things like that. That was really helpful.
Cool. And I believe Maxwell.
Yeah, it was good. This one was an unusual one for me in that I didn't have any, specific people with a ton, right? They were all pretty spaced out in, between 1 and maybe 10 or 15 praises. Like I didn't have any really high numbers, which was weird. Overall, it felt really good. It felt like I may have, looking at the data, underestimated a couple of efforts, maybe because I didn't see any where, a ton of people were praising the same thing. So maybe I just didn't understand the amount of effort that went into some of that stuff that only got praised maybe a little bit, but was actually really highly impactful because I saw it was an outlier on the low side for some of those things. But other than that, it was really good.
Great. I think we can pass it to Livia.
That's very interesting that the amount of people praising something shifts the perception of value of that thing, of like, oh, there wasn't many people, so I didn't give that much. That's something good to keep in mind. Yeah, I think for me, I was just trying to pay more attention in the duplicates and some of the things we talked in the reward call this week, based on the document and the analysis Ziwei shared. So I'll talk more on the duplicate part, and I'll pass to Patty.
I don't think Patty quantified yet, but we could sling it to Ziwei.
Yeah, feeling more smooth. The only big hurdle I find is still the same praise, identical praise to multiple people. I'm afraid I just couldn't remember how to make it consistent. So I'm worried like the people I quantified later got lower scores or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Who shall I pass to?
Bunjue.
So I know this is a common complaint that sometimes praise doesn't provide enough context. and this was my first quantification, and I experienced just that. Um, and on one hand, you don't want to have strict rules and guidelines because you want people to praise freely as they see fit. But at the same time, when you get something like praise so and so for their contributions to Project X, and I have no context for that or their level of involvement. So, in that sense, my praise was kind of inconsistent because I really didn't have any context for those kinds of praises. And then, same issue with the Z-Way. There'd be identical praises that are verbatim identical, and then you can just mark it as a duplicate, but then some of them are not so clear and dry. They're like variations on the same type of praise. So that was kind of it took some time to think those through. But that was pretty much it. Overall, it went smoothly. Let's see. I'll pass it to Miss Jean, or yeah, Miss Jean.
Yeah, so I also like that a weekend bar has been added. It makes the quantifying easier for me. And when I first started quantifying, you mentioned that I was giving too high or weird scores. But when you shared the document or like the spreadsheet, I started to understand more the praises. So I think I'm doing. I don't know. I want to hear if I did well in the quantifying for the previous two sessions. Yeah. I don't know who to pass it to.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely cover the last session in this call. And I believe Bear 100 still has to go.
Me?
Bear 100.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. If he is there. Bear 100, are you still with us? Yeah. Sorry. We can bear with you. It's cool. I think just myself. I could say it was a lot easier, but I feel like I share, I think, what Z-Way was saying, and just like, how do I remember what score I gave for something similar before? And so, like, maybe I gave it to like a different quantifier, but it was the same, like, praise. So it was hard for me to remember, and like, I might have been inconsistent because of that. But other than that, marking duplicates was pretty easy with the weekend divider and just using like Control F to find keywords like while scrolling in the background. So duplicates is kind of easier, but yeah, overall it took me an hour and a half to do 300 praise. So it definitely feels easy. Great. And so this is a question as well, talking about duplicates. And so I'll leave this kind of open-ended here, but were there any duplicates that any of the quantifiers were stuck on that they wanted to talk about? Any sort of issues that we need to resolve around, like, what should we do? Is this a duplicate? Does anyone want to share any difficulties? Was it easy to sort of the duplicates? Or are we're still having a lot of trouble with it?
So like
Sometimes it seems. Go ahead.
if there's a duplicate that's very broad, like praise so and so for their contributions to this event, and then there's another praise referencing the same event but with more details, like specifying some of the things they did, that would be considered duplicate, right? Because it falls under the umbrella of the first praise.
Yes. Yes. But I would generally, I mean, to me, generally, I would score the one that has more detail higher,
Right.
and then maybe mark the vaguer one as a duplicate so that it gets a lower
Okay.
score.
Yeah, I'll do that on the next one. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Just referencing the duplicates to the highest score.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Definitely more detailed praise has more value, like as a general rule of thumb.
I was also thinking in that topic that some praises, they seem like they are praising the same thing, but actually the value is going to something different. So maybe one is praising someone for organizing an event, and another one is praising someone for like something in that event too, but that is a different value. I was thinking to maybe look into multiple praises and see like what is the value underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it's a little vague, but something I took a note to is for recording a lot of calls versus for all the work that you do in the background. Recording of calls, auditing the working groups, participation in almost all of the meetings.
Mm-hmm. And so then that first one seems like a duplicate of the second one, but the second one has way more detail in it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Yeah.
second wouldn't be a duplicate of the first, but the first could be a duplicate of the second, but then maybe the values are misleading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll echo that. It's the straightforward attendance or whatever, right? When a bunch of people get praised for attending the same meeting, those are easy duplicates. But when they do start getting more detailed, I tend to err on the side of trying to score it on the specific thing that's getting called out versus calling them duplicates, because if they're spending the time to give that extra context, in my head I'm giving them credit for praising that one that giving that extra detail. I think I've more erred on that side which was definitely new. I had a very low amount of duplicates this session.
Interesting. Any other comments you want to add around duplicates? Hopefully a lot of this, just the fatigue of doing duplicates, we can work on when we make some user experience changes.
Yeah, maybe one suggestion, where we're tagging duplicates. I don't know if it's possible to somehow group them, versus saying, hey, this is a duplicate of this specific one. Somehow group
Yeah.
them such that you could then score all of them together, where instead of you say, hey, I scored the first one a 5 or whatever, right? And then I marked another one as a duplicate. You could link them, and then maybe at the end of at the end of the person who is duplicated, you could then score all of them together. I don't know if again, a UI thing, right? Not an easy change, but
Yeah,
just
we're
something.
working on some wireframes in just that similar direction, actually.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that's a fantastic idea. Cool. Anything else before we move on to the next section? Nice. Okay. were you able to find enough context to adequately quantify praise? And I'll go down the list on this one, and you can say yes, or you can add some more info if you want. Can start with Bunjue, actually. Since this was your first time quantifying, I'm interested.
So to be honest, I didn't really go out of my way too much to find the context of praise that was ambiguous. Um, I just went based off my knowledge of the project, if I knew what that person was talking about, and then the level of detail in the praise. Maybe a possible solution is to not set strict guidelines, but perhaps to encourage as much detail as possible, without restricting any, you know, uh, without restricting one's voice or literary freedom. Um, because that was probably my biggest concern while doing this quantification. Is just not having enough context and feeling like I didn't dish enough praise when more praise would have been appropriate, or giving too much when it wasn't. But again, it's completely subjective, and I think this will resolve over time. So yeah, I'll pass it to Z-Way.
Yeah, I think I echo what you just said, and I'm thinking from a data analysis point, maybe we can see what are the kind of praise that leads to most disagreement among quantifiers versus what are providing enough context that quantifier are easy to agree on. Then we can have this some examples just to show people these are the praise that make it easy.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Maybe we can shoot it to Ben's.
Yeah, this is something that I'm definitely getting a lot better at as I've done several and just kind of being around for long enough. I think it takes a little bit of time, but especially with the pieces that um, are a little more opaque to me. So, like some of the front end development stuff, um, but I'm kind of learning what all goes into that just kind of from everyone else's praise, and yeah, it definitely gets easier as you go. um so I didn't have to look elsewhere really. But yeah.
Cool.
um
Yeah,
yeah,
you want to
sorry.
pass it?
Yeah, I'll pass to Bear. Thanks.
Are you there, Bear 100? Okay. Maybe we can pass it to Miss Jean in the meantime.
So I find some of the praises incomplete, and some of the praises mention things that I'm not familiar of. So when I speak to Grief, I just ask them like what it is, or I base I quantify them based on the efforts that they mention on the praise, or like how they were praised. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. And just so you know, Algene, you can always look through the forum, or there's actually a TEC handbook. So if there's any like terminology or references that you might not understand, you can always just do like a keyword search through